everyone. I've been doing stuff. I also haven't been doing stuff. I said I may have 2 videos out in April and I only put out one and it wasn't even intended to be an April video. I tried placing an update saying I'm working on things within a short and things got even more uncertain since then. In all seriousness, I felt like I needed to put out a more thorough update to detail where things are at going into the summer, since by the time this video goes out, I will have likely gone on summer break where I will remain for the next 4 months. So I've called into the name for these types of videos the State of the Fool, where provided I keep this concept in 6 months' time, we'll act as some form of bi-yearly update series where I just sit down and discuss what's next. I came up with this because I've naturally done this every 6 months, and it's better to make a video on it detailed now that I'm fully on YouTube. Anyway, to start with the biggest thorn in my side, the Deltarune project I've been teasing to have a more thorough look through. I've been working to get a video covering the build of Chapter 1 that I've been sitting on for nearly a year now since, well... Look, this isn't the statement on the game itself, but Deltarune has kind of been a bad luck charm for me for a while now. Like, there are reasons I've been sitting on it for so long. The development was troubled, and this video has unfortunately seen a bit of trouble in development as well. Firstly, I'll get the less me-related problem out of the way first. My tech and editing software has turned on me a bit. I've edited in DaVinci for the last 2 long-form videos and used a mix of CapCut and Clipchamp for the rest of them, though I phased out Clipchamp for CapCut recently, at least for the shorts. But, well, CapCut has its own issues. Sometimes it would randomly ask me to pay for no reason, cause me to have to redo the elements of the shorts, and it's become hard to distinguish what I have to pay for. Same with DaVinci. DaVinci has served me well enough, but recently some issues have arisen. I put a few in community posts, the system was running a bit slow, the sound was all over the place. But since I've ironed them out, I've grown a bit unhappy with some of the editing choices I make. I mean, mainly the pace, due to Crossroads video being nearly 40 minutes long, and getting to the Fields of Hopes and Dreams in the first iteration took about 20 minutes, so for all those reasons combined, by the time this video goes up, I will have completely restarted the editing for the Deltarune project. By the way, if you can hear an ambient fan in the background, it's because I've been trying to freshen up my room a bit, so I got a diffuser and a fan to try and weed out that gamer smell in my room. Look, this was tough to come to, especially because I was originally wanting to put that video out at the end of April, and this basically means this won't be out by Chapter 3 and 4's release. However, I want to put video quality above capitalizing on potentially the height of Deltarune popularity this year, and I really don't think I'll be able to put something quality together within the next 2 weeks. I've decided to continue in DaVinci regardless of everything that's happened because I pretty much can't function as intended in any other software. Clipchamp tries so hard to make me use its AI features, and I can't for the life of me navigate any of the open source ones in good time. Plus I think my laptop, yes, current i7 Asus ZenBook laptop that I've had for the past 4 years now and have done basically all my videos on, might be on its way out. Or maybe it's just Windows. Windows and Microsoft content this year especially has started to become insufferable. Like, I've had at least 5 random blue screens this year, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I've even started using Linux for non-video related things on an old laptop of mine. And not just Linux. Arch Linux. Yes, I agree, I've gone too far with this one. But, back on topic, the new editing timeline has been going smoothly. I'm up to about the 3rd recording at the moment, out of 25, but give it 5 weeks and do one every day, and I think I'll be there. If you want to see what the video will look like in this new style, here is a sneak preview of the first session in that video. And I got to work with the school from hometown, as that just made sense as the starting point, as that allowed for me to make way for the entrance to the Dark World. My translation into Minecraft was quite faithful to the design in the game. I cycled through a few block palettes before adding in the walls and some of the front decoration. After deducing a floor pattern with stripped oak, I lined the walls with white terracotta and used that to plan out the classrooms. Since I was planning on applying a 2-story structure here, I wanted for 2 classrooms on the top and 2 on the bottom, while minimally keeping the 2 vital classrooms, being the spare room and Alphys's classroom, on the bottom floor so they can be close to where the cupboard would be. And while I added that in under the stairs, I cloned the main layout so far and placed it on top to create a 2nd floor. However, while all this has been going on, you're probably still wondering one thing. How am I going to add in the Dark World? See, I stuck with DaVinci because I started learning how to do fusion effects for backdrops, and the alternative would be to either learn an open source editor or sell out to a corporate like Microsoft. The second reason is totally a me problem though, and that is procrastination and a complete lack of focus. I've had focus issues for a while now, mainly caused by the fact that I have to manage my own time in adulthood, and being muscle autistic has me suspect that ADHD is lying somewhere in that messed up little head of mine. Also, maybe my dopamine receptors are fried from TikTok for 18 months, like sometimes when I try to edit, I blink and suddenly I'm on Blue Sky or Reddit or scrolling YouTube mindlessly, which is definitely a TikTok brain mood, but anyway, I have been trying to improve this by applying more routine-coded methods to try and fix my focus, and sometimes they've worked. Like, I got a lot of editing done the other day because my cat was sleeping on my phone, so that says something about what my phone does to my brain. So yeah, I'm not going to start declaring random release dates for any of these videos since they're taking way longer than I expected, but you may not have the same expectations I have if you don't see these dates. I know I can't sit on this forever though, so as I teased previously, and for my personal target's sake, I'm giving myself 5 more weeks at the most. If I can't get this out by the end of June, well, you can torment me all you want about it. You can make Deltarune videos my silk song for all I care. I know that's been happening with Chapter 2, which, by the way, here's some screen grabs from Chapter 2, end of the project, that I've been doing recently, so you can at least see what I've been doing. Honestly, I'm glad I'm taking my time, because I might be cooking something here. I don't want to make any stark declarations yet, but I started the Cyber City last week, and I am definitely going to be taking my time with it. This is so much bigger than I intended. It might be because Chapter 2 shocked me with how much I liked it, which is why I'm putting 250% into this, but literally, the fact that I've decided to build every house, every building, every whatever sort of background structure you could muster for that city. I've literally had Cyberpunk 2077 open on the side of most of my recordings for this part, while also trying to add in the neon stylization of the world of Deltarune, just to not make it look too dystopian, though dead internet theory might say otherwise. You can see this in my second screen grab, the city so far, and the way the lighting kind of goes in that image. Any critiques you may have with either this or my editing style, honestly you can comment it and I'm likely to see it at this point. Next, let's talk about the Hollow Knight project quickly. It seems to have picked up a bit more traction recently, with shorts throughout April, or in more accurate terms, the Green Path shorts frequently exceeding 1,000 views. Thank you for pushing these more. I know it may seem conflicting to put out shorts and long form videos on the same project, especially when one gets more views than the other. I still think it allows for the two parts to reach different audiences than it would have otherwise, plus it helps me keep motivation to keep on going. Now regarding part C, the long form video that is to be on Green Path, we're not too far away from it, though I've wanted to double things up and also include the early game sections of Fog Canyon and Queen Station in that video. As with the Deltarune video, I want to give this one a faster pace to seem more appealing. Depending on how many views the first chapter build of Deltarune gets, this may or may not come out before the Chapter 2 video. I'm not sure if the latter may mean I build the fungal waste during the editing of Chapter 2, since I'm conscious that if I upload Chapter 1 after finishing both builds, I'll have 2 videos to edit and no real build in the pipeline. I've already established that editing sets off my potential ADHD brain. If you want a long-term plan of this project though, the fungal waste will be next, Part D, as I'm dubbing it, so my indexes have a proper code to go by. Part E will be the big one, the western side of the City of Tears including the Soul Sanctum, a build I'm sure many Hollow Knight fans in my audience are anticipating. Part F will be where I begin to backtrack to Crystal Peak to lead into the resting grounds of Part G, which may also include the other side of the city to add our first Dreamer. If all goes to plan and the weekend schedule works out, this is pretty much the project plan for the rest of the year. I'm not going to try and act like the time span makes this project bigger than something like, I know, Breath of the Wild and Minecraft or the Ultimate Survival World, 2 mega builds that I've followed over the span of the years that they've been worked on and have put much more work into them than any of my projects ever will. But you have to understand that the weekend schedule is necessary for me not to lose focus on my everyday life. I'm still studying for a computer science degree, so I'll need time to focus on that, especially when summer ends and my second year starts to pick up the pace of everything. Deltarune projects being how I cope with that gap. But what about after Deltarune Chapter 2 is concluded? What then? Because if I were to finish that build, say, next month, that's still at least July, August, and pretty much most of my September hanging. I need another kind of interim project that'll hold me over, so my parents at least don't start pestering me to get a part-time job. Seriously, my dad suggested getting one from home so I'm not bored, even though that's not really the point of why I don't really want one. As for what this project is, I have a few options that I'm giving myself. Depending on subscriber count at the point I have to decide, I might make this a poll, but my main options at the moment are Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4. This is the most uncertain one because I don't want my first playthroughs of 3 and 4 to seem like I'm doing them as work for videos. I loved playing through 2, but I may need to let 3 and 4 sink in a little bit first. However, if by the release of the Chapter 2 version of the map things look good, I may consider going into Chapter 3 immediately after, depends on the situation. 2 is the one that I've thought of for a while now. It's Cult of the Lamb. This has been an idea I was throwing around this time last year, as this had a bit more thinking outside the box. Cult of the Lamb is obviously not something I build an entire map from, but more so a kind of mashup pack survival setting. I've also thought to make it model with some horror mods just to potentially tap into that untapped darkness I see in the original game. Also, shit, now the third one is my entitled letterboxed project that I'm calling it at the moment, which is definitely my most defined plan of these all. I've had this as a plan as an original project with a heavy involvement of film site Letterboxd, which I've occasionally started posting reviews on after an incident last year, where I did the unthinkable and saw the Oscars Best Picture winner at Cineworld in November. I've had the idea to rank my top 100 films in a Minecraft build that I may also use to push a few points I have about online cultures, but those deeper discussions are for if this becomes an actual project. Not to tempt you, but out of the 3, this is the one that I have the most planned out. I have all the contenders planned, I have a Smash Ultimate-like trailer concept, which is how I'm going to reveal them all to you. I know how to lay out the videos, the only thing I need to know is whether this concept will fit the views of my channel and its audience. Since I'm mostly unsure of how good it is content for obvious reasons, which is why I'm pitting it against other options, so please understand that. And lastly, IDK. That's literally how it's listed in my script. This is a free space. It may mean I just crank up the pace of Hollow Knight, it may mean something one of you guys suggests and it just gives me a massive brainwave, but we'll see when we get there. The first 3 anyway are my more pronounced ideas. At the moment I'm thinking 3, but it may be more long term than I expect. If no vote were to take place, I'll just go by how I feel when the first Deltarune video is out. Again, hopefully by the end of next month. So that's pretty much it for the main updates. Overall, if you want a completely defined plan for the next few months, the first Deltarune video will be out next month, again, I keep saying it, shortly followed by either a long Hollow Knight video on Green Path or the second Deltarune video depending on the circumstances upon release, mainly how popular each kind of content is. Hollow Knight Shorts will still go up on weekends until the end of Green Path at least, and then we'll figure it out from there. And once all 3 pipeline videos are out, then we can decide which summer project I'll do. If I were to conclude on some big point for this video and kind of where I'm at now, I think the main reason behind all these circumstances building up the way they have been is that my building has become more ambitious, and as a result I've been less able to calculate when stuff will actually get done. My Hollow Knight replays can cover 1 or 2 rooms, but have a lot of handmade detail on them, like the one I've been playing in the background of this video, where rather than use Axiom or World Edit to put in the finer details, I've done most of these vines by hand. Same with my Deltarune replays, but now I have to build a complete city as just backdrop, and sometimes it can kind of bloody intimidate me. I think this is just what naturally happens when you've been building like this for 2 years. I'm coming up to the 2nd anniversary of my TikTok account, which is where I started all of this. You gain new skills when you've been doing it for this long. You gain new techniques and methods of thinking that can be applied to your work to improve it. So I'm looking forward to see where these creative projects go in the coming months. So overall, thanks for the support this year so far. I know it's only been less than 6 months of complete YouTube activity, but I couldn't imagine much use of my creative drives without it. Hopefully this summer something will get monetized and then I can actually say this is my part-time job. So yeah, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, blah blah blah. I'll see you next time.